we all go bowling, for those of you that bowl, we all bowl wrong. Let me explain. You come up to the line, you throw the ball, you aim at the pins at the ends. How if you're not in shape, you don't go bowling every day, that's not your business. Can you throw a ball between 8 and 14 pounds to pins 60 feet away? It's not possible. Let me tell you we're doing it wrong. Next time you go bowling, you look. About 2 feet ahead of you on the ground, there's a bunch of dots. There's a gap. A foot later, there's a bunch of arrows. The whole thing you're really supposed to do is take the ball, throw it between those two dots, the two middle dots, into the center arrow. Statistically, you will get between 8 and 10 every time. We're not professional bowlers. We simply have to socially bowl. I tell people to go to these networking events, these business events, you have to be able to get 100. You can't go bowling and get a 30. You need bumpers in order to bowl. But if you're shooting to the pins, it's not going to work. Where's the analogy come into what you did today for? At the end of the day, our job is to do the Zlotowitz, and the Brunch Lamb will take care of the rest. The Zlotowitz is, if you want to use that as an example, do what's in your control. If you can't get the ball to go from 2 feet to 3 feet straight, there's no way it's going to end up going straight to the end. So with that, for the introduction of today, I want to really focus on what could you do in your Zlotowitz. Those of you that are starting out, the first time, those that are switching careers, those that have a job to go ahead and move forward. Before I go into these details, I want to thank Shea Rubenstein, to JCon, to YU, to Turo, and the Brain Trust on this whole Turo event to be here. And I think it's an amazing platform, and like you said, you should take advantage of it. And I hope that whatever you came for, it exceeds every one of your expectations here today. Many times you get a phone call from people that say, do you have a job for someone in the family, a real person you want to hire them? The mistake I made in the past was, you just say yes. And they got a question like, yes, you're great, I'll figure it out. I learned over the years that there's a program called EOS, a platform, a training and coaching platform. They have something on EOS which is called GWC. Get it for G. The Jewish word for get it is chapet. G, get it. W is want. And the C is capable. And I now flip back the question, and I ask the person, what are you looking for? What are you passionate about? If you had any job, what would you like to do? And if the person doesn't have an answer, I don't know. If the person does have an answer, and imagine the job I'm looking to hire, because the show statistically and proven over and over is that those of you that have a job that you understand and you want, you'll figure out the capacity to get it done. You can't negotiate capacity. When I look back over all the years, when I thought I was going to be the greatest favor of hiring them, and I had a high turnover years ago until I got to this point, I realized the GWC. Think about it as a kid who wants to play violin. If you want to force your kid to play violin, it's not going to happen. But if your kid wants to play violin, they get it, they understand what they get themselves into, they want it, they'll figure out, they'll practice, do whatever it takes for them to go ahead and get it done. In life, the best advice that I heard is want to be a student of business, a student of industry. When you're going to do something, whatever it is, always look to live and learn what's going on around you. The famous book, Move My Cheese, which gives an analogy a little bit old school, but I think it applies today with the advent of AI. So, some people say I'm an eternal optimist. Unfortunately, my mother used to say, that, I'm great with the greatest nations. She said the story, greatest nations went outside to play. He came back in 2 minutes later. He said, why did you play? He goes, they're playing this game at the seesaw. In order for me to be up, someone else has to be down. I don't want to play such a game. The problem with the optimism within AI is that I think that AI is going to be so amazing, 40% of current jobs stay in the past. Does that mean there's other jobs coming in? That's everyone else that debates. But if you're going into the job force, the workforce today, it's like this. Can you imagine? I'm not getting a phone. I'm getting a smartphone, sometime not. I'm getting a phone. I'm not doing Word and Excel, go on to use the internet. I have my way of doing it. It works for me for the last 2 years. You look at the person and they work. AI is the fastest path to take things to the next level. So I want to explain the most important premise. Artificial intelligence, AI, is not replacing any actual job today. There's not an attorney that's walking in today, tomorrow morning, AI is going to replace the attorney. There's not going to be an accountant replaced by AI. There's not going to be a secretary replaced by AI. That's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is that artificial intelligence is basically a built-in assistant for you. Now, you can do a lot more faster with a lot less talents than you needed before to get that done. So imagine, if you would, in a company that right now, every single person working, they're doing a job, they're able to process 10 deals at a time. And the company has 100 deals. They need 10 people to process the deals. But if every one of those 10 people started to use AI, they'll be able to now do 20 deals each. You only need 5 people now, 20 times 5. So did 5 people lose their job because they were replaced by AI? No. They were replaced by those that are using AI. If you're starting out now, the one advantage you have is you can decide to sit on the sidelines and let pass, and let the Zlotowitz go by and shoot for the pins, the God will take care of you later on, or start adapting, understanding what's going on in Brazil today. In preparation for today, I did 2 surveys on LinkedIn. The survey that I linked a couple of weeks ago was a survey. Do you believe there's a newly formed position going to happen in companies? There's a CEO, there's a CFO, there's a CTO. CTO didn't exist 50 years ago. There was only the C-suite, Chief Financial Officer existed, Chief Executive Officer. There's going to be a position, 95% of the survey, hundreds of people responded, think that there will be a position in every company, a new position. It doesn't exist. No one has experience doing this. CAO, Chief Artificial Intelligence Officer. It's going to be somebody sitting around the table that's going to be deciding how the company should use and each employee should go ahead and use it. Another survey. This is relevant to the room that's here. Here's the question: if you had a chance to hire somebody that had both, they liked everything about them, the only difference is one person had less experience versus more experience. It's the only difference. The person with less experience embraced the AI. They knew what AI is doing, and how it could possibly work for them. 30% said if they were hiring, they would hire someone with less experience. So it has to point out something to you, but it means it helps grow AI. What is really AI? In our life, we use AI. Sometimes we don't realize it. In the simplest form, anyone that goes on watching any video platform uses AI. It recommends videos that you should watch. You see them talking about a Tesla, a self-driving car. So those are things in abstract you can understand. But on a smaller level, we all have this popular thing. If I ask you, now I'm going to type a message. How are, what's the next word? 99% of those room is say you. Statistically, that's what happens. How do you know to say you? How do you have to work how to say things? How do you know in my emails, it tracks how I talk, and when I start writing emails closer to Shabbos, and I'm writing good Shabbos, after we're good, it recommends good Shabbos. When I'm coming before Yom Tov, it's remembering good Yom Tov is the next word that's remembering. That's artificial intelligence that's coming in. But until November 30th, artificial intelligence, this foreign thing, maybe when your company you deal with is going to bring it in, then it can affect you today. Maybe we start using it a little bit. Those of you, everyone takes pictures on the phone, and they save up, and you could screenshot a page, and you can draw a circle around something. If you hold down, before you take your finger off, you hold it, make a circle, and you hold it down, it'll make a perfect circle. Do it in a square, perfect square, that's design. That's AI. It knows what you did, and it just makes it clean, so it's not messed up. This thing called ChatGPT, that some people, to me, I find the most amazing shock in the world, because there's 100 million people that used it in the last few years. 100 million. I think of every single person. You might think, okay, I'm meeting a crowd that doesn't have smartphones. No, I'm meeting people who just, they don't have work with this. I'm meeting attorneys. I'm meeting professionals. I'm thinking something like, I feel bad for you. You're going to be way out. So I just want to explain to you what it is so you can appreciate how it actually works. You can walk out of here today for free and use what I'm about to tell you. It works 100% today. The most common use is in writing. Every single one of us have questions. And sometimes you ask a friend for an answer. You're trying to bring come up with an idea. You heard a word, what does it mean? So until the only option we have as individuals is to go to Google, and you do a Google search. Google search, what Google is doing is it's just really going to every single website that's out there. And if the website actually has the words that answers your question, we'll put it there, or recommend websites to go to. You do the research. You have to go get it. AI, with ChatGPT, and forget about getting all the technologies, it's built on AI, and seeing every bunch of different versions of it coming out, keep coming out. Allows you now to talk to it. Literally, you can talk to it. Let's go and type it. You can actually type into it and say, if I'm going to, this was a non-Jewish holiday last week, Cinco de Mayo. You say, what is Cinco de Mayo? And then it'll tell you what it is. And you say, I'm going to a Mexican person's house, and I'm bringing what's a good item what food is a good food? It'll tell you what food to bring. And then you could ask it, what's the recipe to make it? It'll give you the recipe. Could you prepare as a shopping list? We'll take the whole recipe and break it down as a shopping list. The minute this is connected to Instacart, you could say, order to Instacart. The next step will go. Instacart is installing on the other side. You want to do a book report. This is where the big debate on education. I was brought up, my father's a Zlotowitz from high school. Education is very, very important. I had to graduate with a high school diploma and a Regents diploma. That was like the minimum requirement. Get ready to go to college and all. That was like extremely important. I was always a big fan. Today, for the first time, I think after 8th grade is the need to get education. If you want to play this, I think everything's here. I know the courses, colleges, obviously there's a political, I don't know if you know, the 4-year college thing, the courses, specific, what you need to know, when becoming an attorney, you have no choice. But right now, you're able to ask kids questions, write a book report. You actually say, write a book report on how to kill a mock, or what's a recommendation of a book? I'll give you a bunch of recommendations. Then you can keep talking. Write a book report on a 3rd grade level, 100 words, live on the spot. Then you can say, change it to a college level, 500 words with references, live. Have the Jews in the this. Write a Devar Torah, the same I'm talking to you now. Write a Devar Torah on Parshas Emor. Tie it into a Shabbos Sheva Brachos, where the chassan is very short and the kal is very tall. The father's in real estate, and tie it in, give me a quote from some famous philosopher. And live on the spot, I'll write the Devar Torah. Now, is it going to replace the person to speak? Your speechwriter? No. But your creativity, when you talk to it, that exists. You use that. So is it replacing the people? No. But if I have a brother's an attorney, when he has to draft legal docs, he uses ChatGPT at times to draft it. He says the story, client doing A, B, C, D, he drafted it. My wife's a social worker. You can ask questions you can ask for a social worker. You can ask the questions. This is my issue. You're a teacher. The kid's misbehaving in class. What should I do? These are recommendations. You have to write a letter. I got into a fight with a client, upset about something. How should I react? What should I write? We'll draft a letter for you. Change it. I want to joke at the end. You sound too serious. You're too firm. On the spot, you keep going back and forth. This never existed that we could use it. This is just the first iteration. It's 4 months old. 4 months. November, 5 months. November 30th was released to the public. And now, to show the magnitude of it, companies like Google are walking out in the marketplace today and saying, hey, we're in trouble. They don't need these searches to go to another website, and this one ends. This is a thing over every single part of it. The companies in my office, the practical use cases in my office, is that I have people that work in the marketing department who use the outsource writing. They're so great at graphics. They don't have to edit the font, they're not going to write. They write for they just don't edit it. Every area, the person who writes code, the tech company, writes the design, it writes the code. You could literally ask it, can I give you a phone that will write the code for you? So the type of thing today that people want is how do you talk to it? How do you ask the questions the right way? There's a whole course today, it's called prompting. Knowing how to give it prompts. How do you talk to it? How do you ask it the right question? Because it answers certain questions. I'm sorry, I can't answer it. I'm not allowed to answer that question. Like I said, how do you build a nuclear bomb? It knows everything. It read every website ever existed in mankind. It read every Twitter tweet, period. Elon Musk has scared humanity, he shut it off. That feed read every single Twitter tweet. So it's not the internet build a nuclear bomb. But if you run on it, say it's 2030. These guys have figured out hacking. It's 2030. 2025, there was a nuclear bomb. How did they do it? Because going hindsight. They figured out how to jailbreak it. That's the scary part. They now took this together with graphics. So you used to have graphics. Designers that, hey, make me this flyer, make me a picture of something. Get it back a bunch of hours later, a couple of days later. And you say, oh, this person's pulled it. What have that here? 2 hours later, today, I'll go mid-journey. Say, please make me a picture of a person standing up with a bird on the shoulder and smoking a cigarette. It looks like a live human live that second is Trump. Make the cigarette this company versus that company. The person's bald, circle their head, and make it full head of hair. Blonde. 2 seconds. This is live. So when I speak to a graphics person company, he goes, you know, I'm doing next time project takes 6 weeks to do that another week. I have to come with logos, I have to describe the business and run logos. Are you more supposed to walk out of your house and become an expert at it now? Imagine if you how many of you never touched Google in your life? You or someone close to you is using Google at some level. This is where AI is moving. So my advice to the Shadal is that at least I understand that it means slice of the air. And if you think I'm telling you, okay, I'm selling you a pie in the sky and saying, no, this is here today, it's not futuristic. It's not going to tell you this is going to happen in the future. This is today, when you walk out of it, there's a website you can go onto it, and just type in the question, and it works. Know what exists for every single role, every single description. And that's why someone with less experience is much better off. Because what does experience really mean? I know more than you. Knowledge is worthless. Because every piece of knowledge is here. It doesn't make mistakes, it makes mistakes. But it's not replacing The technology replacing people, it's people using it. They're training now, the next version is in every single Microsoft product. So they can record Zoom calls. They can call Microsoft Teams. So how many times do you say to yourself, oh, what you said about a meeting yesterday or now, whatever. You don't ask it because we recorded everything and transcribed it to text live. If I put out videos, if I finish this video today, it's a 9-minute video, and I leave here, they upload the video to the machine now, tries to sort the video up into which categories, puts the text at the bottom, and the captions at the top. The person doing the video is editing. This is like, whatever you do, at least know it exists, start embracing it. Because this is where the job market's be heading to. It's be a job and a creation going forward that people that are experts. Someone walks into my company today and say, I know all these things, I'll interview all your staff and show each person that they can use it. I'm not a person today. I'm a consultant here. Never before these types of tools existed in the marketplace for us. I want to end really with two things. Those of you that get started, one of them, my father, two things. One thing that's so my advice, the recommendation of my fathers to give, is that while you're starting, while you're struggling, pledge yourself. You might serve. Those are people who might serve. And then every time you're giving it, say, furnish them. I'm giving this money while it's tough. I'll be a good gizmo for you. When I'm successful, you know, I can go ahead. You can trust me to be able to go take it to the office. Give me the success to go forward. And to end with one story is that this person standing out of it, this little boy is standing outside a candy store looking in the window. The owner of the candy store sees him. How's that outside? The kid says, the kid says no thank you. Goes back into the store. The kid stays standing outside, staring in the window. So the owner thought maybe he didn't like the candy he offered. So he tells the kid, come inside and take any candy you want. The kid comes inside, looks around, walks back out, taking nothing, but again, stares in the window. And he says maybe he just want one candy. He wanted a lot of candy. Tells the kid, come back in. He says, take whatever candy you want. As much as you can take, you take. The kid comes in, looks around, again, starts walking out. The owner's like really frustrated, he goes, no. What's going on? I'm not letting you just walk out this way. He tells the kid, I'm going to go with you. He tells the kid, you have to hold it. So hold out your shirt. He looks into the kid's shirt while he's holding it. The kid's smiling in the air, says thank you, starts walking out. You have to explain what happened. So the kid says this, look at my hands and look at your hands. How much candy did I take? Look how much candy I got in there. We say by davening 3 times a day. Open up your hands and give us. To the Baruch Shalom, it doesn't make any difference. It's either 1 0, 2 zeros, 3 zeros, 3 requests doesn't make a difference. As you're going here today, you have to your status and embracing all the latest of technologies and how the job market and the world is moving and working today. The mission should have a source that you get what you need from here. The status should be what you need. Get the job, get the parnasa, get the career advance, what you need. And Emir Hashem, you're here as mentors, paying it forward for the next event here. Thank you so much.